I'm really sorry that it's rather languidly. I've come across a copy of the New Statesman today, which is almost a week old, and it's got a very interesting article about Rishi Sunak's failure to land a decisive blow on Keir Starmer during PMQs last week. I don't think it says anything particularly new, but it's very elegant in the way it does it, and it highlights two key observations in the ongoing debate about the winter fuel allowance. First is that the issue of means testing winter fuel payments will be a thorn for Starmer and his Chancellor, Rachel Reeves. And Sunak's focus on this, especially after 53 Labour MPs abstained in the vote on the matter, ought to put Starmer in a really difficult position. He dodged, I think, 3 times, as Sunak repeatedly pressed him on the lack of an impact assessment report regarding the policy and referenced Labour's own past warnings that such cuts could lead to 4,000 deaths. I think that's putting it mildly. And as I said, Starmer deflected the criticism by blaming the Conservative Party for the fiscal situation, invoking the 22 billion black hole refrain, which I think is going to wear rather thin, because, again, it's not based on a credible assessment, and he's been very reluctant to show the figures seriously and where he got that figure from. That figure is very much a figure that is going to occur in 2028. It hasn't occurred yet, and it's about a projection, and all governments have projections. But while effective for dodging immediate scrutiny, as I say, this response is going to wear thin, even among his own MPs, some of whom were, frankly, visibly uncomfortable. And then Sunak's line of questioning, which seemed to be effective in cornering Starmer, deliberately shift focus, and that's the second takeaway from PMQs. And after building momentum on the winter fuel issue, Rishi Sunak abruptly switched to discussing agriculture, a less politically potent subject, effectively allowing Starmer to escape further pressure. And it was a misstep that underscores the broader weaknesses of the Conservative Party as it navigates internal turmoil and leadership uncertainty. So for example, James Cleverly goes on about the fact that Starmer doesn't have a democratic mandate, stripping millions of people, in the Daily Express the other day, stripping millions of people of their winter fuel payment without a democratic mandate is an unbelievably foolish choice. Yeah, but the wrong person to be making that point, given the fact that James Cleverly was part of the Rwanda plan, which equally had no democratic mandate. It wasn't in the Conservative Party 2019 manifesto. And it was also an unbelievably foolish choice, has been demonstrated by the present government's decision to abandon it. The differences between Rwanda and Albania are astronomical. Not least that Albania is signed up to the European Court of Human Rights and signed up ultimately to become part of Europe. It isn't at the moment, which makes it ideal for Meloni's plans, but specifically and importantly, should somebody be granted asylum in Albania, they will be eligible to enter Italy and receive asylum, have refugee status in Italy. And that's the important difference. Where the Rwanda thing was to trap people in Rwanda for the rest of their lives, in a place which is potentially unstable, certainly at war with its neighbours, in all but name, sort of a special military operation, could we call it, and has not adequately explained the deaths of 13 refugees killed at point-blank range by Rwandan soldiers in 2018. Not on one occasion, but on two occasions, and other people being wounded. So to pursue that doggedly is nonsensical, and it's not just the fact that Rishi Sunak has failed to land a blow on Starmer on an issue which is seriously seriously problematic. There have been people like Wendy Chamberlain in the Lib Dems, the Lib Dem Work and Pension spokesperson, saying pensioners across the country are terrified that during a cost of living crisis, the government is set to strip desperately needed support away from the most vulnerable. She could have gone on to add people who are suffering, mentally ill, people who are disabled. These people could find themselves stripped of this lifeline to heat and security during the winter months, and with no preparation time to set other things in motion. And it's that knee-jerk suddenness of this which is so extraordinary. And I think there's a case to be made. She says this lays bare what a catastrophic decision the new government has taken for millions of pensioners. The new Labour government must reverse course immediately, ditch these cruel cuts, and get pensioners the support they need this winter. Absolutely. But she needs to follow this through. However, the Lib Dems have said that their target is not the Labour Party, but the Conservative Party. Well, they demonstrate that only too well. And then you've got Nigel Farage standing up, his intervention on prison reform. It might add an unexpected dimension to the session, as the New Statesman points out, reminding Starmer that challenges can come from multiple fronts, even if the Conservatives struggle to regain their political footing. But again, it isn't much of a challenge, really, at this particular stage in the electoral cycle. But a good opposition should have been able to press the issue, and Rishi Sunak wasn't able to do so, and the Lib Dems didn't seem interested in doing so, and that leaves the issue to be dealt with by the Labour Party itself, and unite the now we hear that it's almost a return to the Harold Wilson beer and sandwiches approach to government, and I think there's a lot to be said for a unity of purpose. But Unite have already indicated they're not happy with the pension situation either. But again, they don't drive home the issue, and it's all this. It's sort of all talk and no trousers, and it's not what. This is why a government needs a good opposition, and this is what we don't have. Sunak initially applied significant pressure, and in fact, in many ways, he's better as an opposition leader than he was as a prime minister, but he knows he's not there for very long. And his inability to sustain the attack, coupled with the broader context of the Conservative disarray, allowed Starmer to avoid any major damage. And the upcoming conference season could provide the Conservatives with an opportunity to regroup. But for now, they appear to be missing chances to capitalise on Labour's vulnerabilities, and therefore they're missing an opportunity to do their job, which is to be His Majesty's loyal opposition and to hold the government to account. If they can't hold the government to account, the Liberal Party demonstrate they're not going to, and the internal members of the Labour Party are unable to. So where is that challenge coming from? It doesn't exist. And I found that I found the seeds of that in the New Statesman article were very stimulating and interesting, and I should have come across it earlier, and I didn't for some reason, and I'm sorry about that, but there you are. That's my thought on that.